There's a certain allure to night driving. The world is asleep, shrouded in darkness, and the road stretches before you like an unfurling ribbon of possibility. The hum of your engine and the rhythmic swoosh of tires against asphalt are the only sounds that punctuate the stillness. It's peaceful, meditative even. But this tranquility can be deceptive, for the darkness that cloaks the world also conceals its secrets. As the miles tick by, you might find yourself growing increasingly isolated. Streetlights become sparse, replaced by the ghostly glow of your headlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. Familiar landmarks disappear, swallowed by the shadows, and the world outside your windows takes on a surreal, almost menacing quality. It's in this liminal space between the known and the unknown that the mind can wander, conjuring up fears both rational and irrational. You might catch a flicker of movement in the periphery, your heart skipping a beat as your mind races to make sense of it. And then there are the stories. Tales whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones, stories of eerie encounters and unexplained phenomena that plague those who dare to travel the roads after dark. These stories take root in our imaginations, blurring the lines between reality and nightmare as we navigate the lonely highways and byways. One classic tale that has haunted travelers for generations is that of the vanishing hitchhiker. This eerie legend has been passed down through the years, whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones among friends. Imagine yourself cruising down a desolate stretch of highway, the only other sign of life the occasional owl hooting from a nearby tree. The road stretches out before you, seemingly endless, with the fog adding an extra layer of mystery to the night. Your headlights illuminate a lone figure standing by the roadside, thumb extended in the universal gesture for a ride. The figure appears almost out of nowhere, as if materializing from the shadows. Driven by a sense of compassion, or perhaps just a desire to break the monotony of the drive, you pull over. The night is quiet, and the air is thick with anticipation, as you wait for the hitchhiker to approach. The hitchhiker, often a young woman, climbs into the passenger seat, her demeanor quiet, almost ethereal. Her presence is both comforting and unsettling, as if she belongs to another world. She might offer a destination, a town just a few miles up the road, or perhaps she simply rides in silence, her gaze fixed on something you can't quite see in the darkness beyond the windshield. The journey continues, the silence between you growing heavier with each passing mile. As you approach the turnoff for her supposed destination, she gives you directions, her voice soft, barely a whisper. The road seems to narrow, the trees closing in as you follow her instructions. You follow her instructions, but when you reach the spot, she's gone, vanished into thin air. The passenger seat is empty, and the only sound is the hum of the engine and your own heartbeat. You might search the car, convinced she couldn't have simply disappeared, but she's nowhere to be found. Panic sets in as you realize the impossibility of the situation. The encounter leaves you shaken, questioning your sanity, wondering if you imagined the whole thing. The road ahead seems darker, more foreboding, as you try to make sense of what just happened. The legend of the vanishing hitchhiker persists, told and retold with slight variations, but the core elements remain the same: a lone traveler, a mysterious passenger, and a disappearance that defies explanation. Each retelling adds a new layer of intrigue and fear, keeping the story alive through generations. Some say these apparitions are the restless spirits of those who met untimely ends on the road, seeking closure or perhaps just a moment's respite from their spectral journeys. Others believe they are warnings, reminders of the dangers that lurk in the darkness. Whatever the truth may be, the vanishing hitchhiker remains one of the most enduring and chilling tales of the open road. The isolation of night driving can play tricks on the mind. The vast emptiness of the road ahead, combined with the inky blackness surrounding you, creates an eerie atmosphere that can be both mesmerizing and unsettling. With the outside world reduced to a blur of darkness and the hum of your engine providing a steady, almost hypnotic rhythm, you find yourself in a cocoon of solitude. The rhythmic thrum of the tires on the asphalt becomes a lullaby, lulling you into a trance-like state. It's easy for the imagination to run wild. The fog that rolls in, illuminated by your headlights, transforms the familiar into the unknown. Shadows dance and shift, creating fleeting images that vanish as quickly as they appear. Sounds that you might otherwise dismiss as insignificant take on a sinister quality. The gentle rustling of leaves in the wind becomes amplified, each movement sounding like a deliberate step, a cautious approach. The rustling of leaves in the wind becomes the whisper of footsteps approaching your car. The foggy windows distort the outside world, making every shadow seem like a lurking figure. The creaking of your vehicle as it cools down transforms into the groan of an unseen entity brushing against its metal frame. Each sound is magnified in the stillness, creating a symphony of eerie noises. And then, there are the voices. The soft whispers that seem to come from nowhere, barely audible at first, but growing in intensity. Soft whispers, barely audible at first, that seem to emanate from the back seat, or perhaps from the depths of your own mind. They weave in and out of your consciousness, making you question their reality. You might glance nervously over your shoulder, half expecting to see a shadowy figure lurking in the darkness, but of course, there's nothing there. The mind plays tricks, conjuring phantoms from the shadows. The whispers might fade, leaving you with a lingering sense of unease, or they might escalate into full-blown auditory hallucinations, voices calling your name, urging you to pull over, to abandon your journey, and venture into the unknown. The line between reality and imagination blurs. These auditory illusions, while unsettling, are often attributed to a phenomenon known as the car cockpit effect. The enclosed space of the car, combined with the monotony of the drive, creates a perfect storm for the mind to wander. The combination of sensory deprivation, fatigue, and the low-frequency hum of the engine can create an environment ripe for auditory hallucinations. The mind, deprived of external stimuli, begins to fill the void with its own creations. Our brains, wired to find patterns and make sense of the world around us, fill in the silence with imagined sounds, often drawing on our deepest fears and anxieties. In the stillness of the night, the boundaries between reality and imagination become porous, allowing our darkest thoughts to seep through. One of the most primal fears associated with night driving is that of being followed. The feeling of vulnerability is heightened by the isolation of the open road, where the only company you have is the occasional passing car, or the distant glow of headlights. The darkness outside your vehicle becomes a curtain, concealing anything or anyone that might be lurking just beyond the reach of your headlights. Every shadow seems to move, every flicker of light could be something sinister. A glance in your rear-view mirror might reveal the approaching headlights of another vehicle, but in those fleeting moments before they come into focus, the mind can conjure up all sorts of terrifying possibilities. Is it just another driver? Or is it someone with more malicious intent? You might find yourself checking your rearview mirror with increasing frequency, your heart pounding in your chest as you convince yourself that the car behind you is getting closer, that its headlights are growing larger, brighter. The anxiety builds with each passing second, making you question your own safety. And then there are the eyes that seem to pierce through the darkness, watching your every move. Two glowing orbs, red or orange, staring back at you from the darkness. They seem almost otherworldly, as if they belong to a creature not of this world. Whether it's the reflection of your own taillights, the headlights of an oncoming vehicle, or simply a case of your imagination playing tricks on you, the sight of those glowing eyes can send a shiver down your spine. It's a reminder of how our minds can create fear from the unknown. It's a primal fear, the fear of being hunted, of being stalked by something unseen, something malevolent. This fear taps into our deepest survival instincts, making us hyper-aware of our surroundings. In some cases, the fear of being followed is more than just paranoia. It's a real and present danger that many have experienced. There have been countless reports of people being stalked or harassed by other drivers, their vehicles becoming moving prisons from which there is no escape. The open road can quickly turn into a nightmare. These real-life encounters are a chilling reminder that the dangers of night driving can extend beyond the supernatural, that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are human. The fear of the unknown, combined with the very real threat of other people, makes night driving a truly harrowing experience. Crossroads have long held a place in folklore and superstition. They are seen as liminal spaces, points where the realms of the living and the dead intersect, where the veil between worlds is thin. It's no surprise then that crossroads feature prominently in tales of ghostly encounters and supernatural phenomena. Imagine yourself driving late at night, your headlights illuminating a deserted crossroads. The road ahead stretches into the darkness, seemingly untouched by civilization. As you approach the intersection, a sense of unease washes over you. The air grows heavy, the temperature drops, and a strange silence descends upon the landscape. You might see a figure standing at the crossroads, their form indistinct in the shadows. They could be a hitchhiker, seeking passage to a destination unknown, or perhaps something more sinister. Legend has it that crossroads are places where deals are made with the devil, where souls are bargained for and lost. Whether or not you believe in the supernatural, there's no denying the eerie power that crossroads hold. They are places of transition, of uncertainty, where the familiar gives way to the unknown. And in the dead of night, when the rest of the world is asleep, it's easy to imagine that anything is possible at a crossroads.